The left are well aware that they are very unpopular with young men, and they don't know what to do about it. And the question would be, well, why would you think there is anything you can do about it? Because I don't know whether you've noticed, but the only message that the left has had for young men for at least the last decade has been, we hate you and we wish you would just die. Why won't you just bend the knee and accept that everyone else, especially if you're a white man, is better than you, more important than you, more worthy than you, and you inherited a bunch of privileges that we're trying to strip away from you in order to make sure you feel like you're at the very bottom of the social pile. And I think at this point, young men are getting that message. They're like, oh, right, yeah, we're the bottom of the social pile, in your opinion, and you will do everything in your power to immiserate us and deprive us of a future in which we could become patriarchs of our own household. And so, yeah, they're hearing this and going, wow, okay, what's the right saying? And the right saying, you know what? Traditionally, young men had a place in society, and they would grow into older, experienced men who would have families and houses and be providers and protectors of their wives and their children and pillars of their own communities, and people would look up to you and respect you, and you would be able to accrue a moderate amount of wealth. You'd be able to buy a house and a car and live like a human being. And weirdly enough, the young men are like, I think these right-wingers are onto something here. I think they've got something in mind that sounds way more appealing than being the whipping boy of women and minorities forever. And so they're just like, what? I just can't understand why being right-wing is more popular with Gen Z men. And so what do we need? Well, we need a Joe Rogan of the left. That's what we need, boys. We need a left-wing man who's like a big Chad to come out and persuade those men to get back on the plantation so we can just suck their tax money out of them forever. So we can reduce them to essentially the state of serfs. So every woman and minority group on the planet can take their tax money, have it redistributed to them, and get ahead in every avenue of life above them. What we want is a plantation full of broken white men. What man could persuade straight white young men that this is the future for them? Why don't we get a multi-millionaire socialist streamer to do it? Everyone loves Hasan Piker, don't they? He's famous. A lot of people, quote unquote, watch him. We don't know anything about those people, and we're going to assume that some of them must be male, assuming they even identify as anything. And so maybe he's the way. Maybe he's the way we can reach straight white young men. And so The Daily Show, the premier news organization of left-wing broadcasting, has gone and interviewed Hasan Piker, and let's give it a watch. It is genuinely hilarious. They don't know what they're doing.
This is Hasan Piker. He's a progressive who has intellectual sit-downs with Bernie and AOC.
Oh, God. Talk about flattering for Hasan Piker.
And still manages to post thirst trap workout videos to his 2.8 million followers on the platform Twitch.
I love how they've literally titled this MAGA body on his own TikTok, as in, if you work out, you must be a Trump supporter. They don't seem to realize just how much of a rake, stepping on rake moment this is. Sideshow bobbing themselves in the face, being like, yeah, so I'm gonna become like one of those MAGA chuds, what, beefy and good looking and attractive to women. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Oh, that's probably a form of fascism, isn't it?
On the platform Twitch. This combo has liberal media asking if he is the magical connection to young male voters.
I love this. I love this so much. Look at these headlines. Right. Left-leaning streamer countering conservative content aimed at young men. Yeah, he's not doing shit. No one cares. Right. A progressive mind in a body made for the manosphere. Again, if you're going to be a big Chad, you're right wing. They think that. That's what their opinion of guys who work out are. The very notion of improving yourself is a right-wing concept. And the thing is, they're right. The abolition of barriers, borders, and standards is all the left is trying to do. If you're a guy and you're like, you know what, I think I might try and make something of myself, well done, welcome to the right wing. You are now officially a right-winger. You cannot be a left-winger, because the left wing is just all about the dissolution of things that prevent other people from doing things. Like, just literally, like, think of anything. Like, oh, I feel like I'm a woman today. Okay, well, then gender roles have to go. Oh, I'm upset that people are fat shaming. Okay, well, then being fat is just as good as being fit, as far as we're concerned. Like, again, it's going to be some form of fascism, right? So, like, every boundary that is the thing that makes something good has got to be abolished. So everything just dissolves down to the lowest common denominator and is just the sort of gross slime at the bottom of humanity. That's what the left wants for everyone. And weirdly, a lot of young men are like, yeah, we're not into that. And so this is the Joe Rogan of the left. Joe Rogan talks to people he doesn't agree with. Like, Joe Rogan just talks to lots and lots and lots of different people. Hasan Piker doesn't. Hasan Piker does not do the things that Joe Rogan does. And he is not persuasive in trying to bring people to the left, because what the left is presenting is just disgusting. And the thing is, Hasan Piker is not a fun guy to be around either. I don't even know why people watch him, because like, I've watched, like, there are YouTube channels that post his clips and stuff. So I watched a few of those. And Hasan just seems angry, right? He just seems angry with things that he has to do every day. Like, he's like, right, I've got a stream for 8 hours every day to people I hate, with people I hate, talking about subjects I hate. And it's just like, okay, well, Hasan, I think you have enough money at this point to not do that, actually. I think you could just not do it. You don't have to, I don't think. I just think you don't know what else to do with your life.
This is where you twitch from.
Yeah.
What is a twitch?
It's basically like YouTube, but you're live streaming.
It's a podcast.
As if we can't live stream in YouTube.
That's for people who are like, I wish this podcast were longer.
Yeah.
Yet his lefty bona fides might have made him a target for Donald Trump's Homeland Security, which...
Yeah, it's because he's left wing. It's because he's left wing. The Homeland Security are like, we're a bit worried about this guy. It's not all the terrorism advocacy. It's not the America deserved 9/11. Israel deserves to die. Like, I'm going to literally platform Houthi terrorists who are currently in a hot war with the United States. Like, it's not any of that. It's that he's like, hey guys, maybe social security is a good thing. Maybe food should be a human right. It's that, is it? Oh, come on. I mean, this is so embarrassing. Just like the complete massaging of the things Hasan Piker has done and stood for is ridiculous. But again, this is the Daily Show. They keep their audience by perpetually lying to them. So what can you expect?
recently detained Piker at the airport. How do you see the left communicating with like young men in this time of the manosphere?
Not well, right? Can't be good. I haven't watched this in advance, by the way. I just saw this. I was like, this is going to be gold. This is how predictable these people are. It can't be well, though, Hasan, right? It's got to be the left has spent the last at least decade, but probably longer, in like not academically, but like in the public consciousness, saying that straight white men are the problem, they have privilege and they're oppressing everyone and therefore they need to be taken down, right? That's literally been the only message that the left has had for men.
The left could, I don't know, talk to dudes without vilifying them. There's a lot of anger.
How would they do that? How would they do that? Let's hear the left-wing narrative on the state of society that doesn't vilify white men, right? Let's hear it. I'm genuinely curious, Hasan. Hey, if you're going to be the Joe Rogan on the left, DM me, bro. I follow you on Twitter. You can just send me a DM and be like, okay, let's set up a chat and I'll explain to you how the left doesn't vilify young men and still maintain its own positions in being left-wing.
Resentment, not having any hope for a future, never being able to retire, never being able to own a home.
I mean, this has literally been what the left is offering. Not only you will own nothing and you'll be happy, but seize the means of production, abolish private property. Like, you are a fucking communist, Hasan. Like, the entire narrative of the philosophy you espouse is that private property is the fundamental root of inequality, and therefore private property has to be abolished. That's what you, as a Marxist, believe, Hasan. And so being like, yeah, young men are really concerned they'll never own a home. Yeah, and that's a good thing. Just get to the good thing part. This is what you want. And so being like, yeah, all these young men aren't going to be able to, like, own stuff. Yeah, no shit. That's another reason that they just don't want to go to the left. What are you going to do? I'll just upend all of leftism all of a sudden. You're like, yeah, all that Marxism stuff was kind of nonsense if you want to get the men on board, to be honest.
All of those things are very much at the core identity for the next generation.
But is there room for the Democrats
For every generation.
to create a left-wing manosphere to talk about the social safety net and protein powder?
Is there a left-wing manosphere that could come into being that says, hey, why don't you just be a disgusting, slobbish dependent on the state? Have you considered not owning anything and just being a fucking loser your whole life? And it's like, well, I think a lot of young men have considered that. And then they realize chicks aren't into it. They're like, you know what? I kind of want to get a girlfriend. I kind of want to have a wife. I kind of want to have kids. I kind of want to retire as, again, the patriarch of a brood of grandchildren. And if I'm just a dependent on the welfare state, which is the only thing you've presented here, generally chicks don't go for that. So how about no? How about I'd like to get some skills, I'd like to get qualifications, I'd like to get a job, I'd like to get a house, I'd like to be able to impress the women around me, and maybe one of them would like to marry me, and then suddenly I'm not in any way left-wing.
Absolutely. I think that there is a space for it.
Yeah.
But how would that be filled? Who would it be filled by? Imagine the kind of men that would fill the left-wing manosphere. It would basically be total losers and rapists. Like genuine predators. Which they claim to be feminists all day, as long as it gets them close to women, right? And also those people who are prepared to be gender ambiguous to enter into those spaces. And but otherwise total losers who are just beyond hope and apparently will never get a woman. That's literally what we're looking at here, right? That's what the left-wing manosphere would be filled with.
But I don't think the left fills that void at all at this moment. I try to do so, but even I sometimes get hit with the "this is body fascism."
There we go. I knew fascism was going to come up at some point, because fascism to the left is just a barrier, some kind of standard, something to attain that some people attain and other people don't attain, and that's what makes the attainment of it desirable in the first place. It gives you status. It creates hierarchy. And what's the point of the left? It is to destroy hierarchies. And they've realized that by attacking categories themselves, they can liquidate hierarchy. And so they're like, Hasan is going through body fascism because he works out or whatever. Yes, actually, yes. By their own standards, that's correct. And the thing is, all Hasan can do is just laugh at it. You just go, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is how ridiculous the left is. Hey, guys, do you want to join me and be accused of body fascism like a proper leftist? Total joke.
Wait, now I have to worry about a new fascism?
Oh, fascism is just something that apparently the left can just make a mockery of, right?
I'm just getting used to the old fascism.
At least they're going to get used to it.
What does even the term body fascism mean? What would you...
I don't fully understand it. I think it's like a lot of
I've just explained it.
leftists hate other leftists.
Yeah. Hey, guys, do you want to come on to the left? We don't have anything for you. We're going to treat you like losers, and everyone's going to hate you because the left is just full of hate. Why don't you come over to us rather than go to the right where, you know, they pat you on the back and go on then, bro. Let's see what you can bench. And then we'll go have some beers. Like, why don't you come over here and just be hated forever on the left? Like, what possible reason, Hasan, would they have to go to the left? Like, the way you guys promote it is so preposterously unappealing. If I were a young man, I would think, okay, not only do the things these people believe are preposterous, but they seem to be a really unappealing social group. If the left is just full of hate, like the right actually doesn't seem to be full of hate. I actually quite like being right-wing, to be honest. And I wish I'd realized I was actually, in my heart, right-wing much sooner and when I was much younger, because I think I probably would have actually sorted myself out at a younger age. Because I was in my mid-30s, and I was still just like, some fucking leftist loser, basically. I wasn't leftist. I was a liberal. But the point is, I hadn't thought about doing something with my life. I didn't have a plan, and it's because of the culture the left created. They're like, look, young men just don't have plans. Just go and fucking waste your time. And that's not a good idea, right? That's not good for them, and it's irresponsible to promote that kind of thing. Very few men are actually going to become multi-millionaire streamers in their goddamn enormous mansions, right? So, actually have a plan, lads.
Sort of consideration about the aesthetics of how you look is actually another way to, I guess, reinforce an unjustifiable hierarchy.
Is it unjustifiable, though? Is it unjustifiable? Or is it justified by the amount of effort that you put into it? Like, the fact that you create beauty justifies itself, I would suggest. But also, yes, it does create a hierarchy, but the hierarchy is valid. The hierarchy is, you weren't born with this, Hasan. You used to be a bit chubby, didn't you? You weren't born as an Adonis. You had to work for it, which is the justification for the standard, for the status. And so if you're a left-winger, you go, well, look, every hierarchy is unjustified. Is that okay? Well, then, good luck becoming anything.
To be fair, that's why I don't work out.
Yeah.
Because I'm anti-body fascism, so people are like, oh, are you lazy? I'm like, no, I'm a socialist with my body.
Yeah.
There we go. Hilarious. Just become a total schlub, because that's literally all the left can offer. They have nothing. They have absolutely nothing to offer young men. And the thing is, they never will. This is all their philosophy is, and they can't present anything that is actually appealing to the young male, straight white male demographic. And Hasan knows this. He's like, yeah, God, we're cancer. All of the problems that they have, incidentally, are products of left-wing thought, right? Open borders, all this, massive amounts of taxation, wealth redistribution, and the general atmosphere that treats young men as if they're a pest. Like, yeah, this is all the product of the left. And so, I don't know how we're going to get them across, boys.